For some drivers in the Virtual Racing League Cup Series, tonight is just another race locked into the 5-race chase that begins next week in upstate New York. For others, the only goal is to go out and win a race at the famed 2.5-mile oval known as the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. For others still, an important points game is at stake. Play your cards right and you have a chance to run for a championship. Get it wrong and you'll meet a safer barrier at over 200 miles an hour, ending your race and your title hopes. Drivers on the bubble tonight have one last race to cement themselves as a championship contender, and the only thing that prevents them from doing that is 80 laps are around the Brickyard in Finian. Tonight we go racing at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and there's so much on the line for some of these drivers.
Yeah, and indeed, it's going to be a very interesting battle. It's very tight in the points, and several drivers that think that they're in could be going home at the end of the night if they don't play their cards right.
Let's take a look at our points on the bubble here, Finian, and obviously for some drivers like Alec Martinez, tonight is a very, very important moment, and they got to have a good night.
Yeah, indeed, they actually lost a position to Joshua Banks last week, so Martinez is going to have to step up. He's only one position safe from being down the tail end of the field, and Emerson, too, just got into the transfer position, but is tied with Jeremiah Vincent in points. So whichever one of them finishes ahead will be the one advancing. That is if no one else passes them. And again, it's very close, as you can see by the point deltas.
All right, absolutely. Let's take a look at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Obviously, a 2.5-mile oval, very famous in the racing world, but located in Indianapolis, Indiana. This 2.5-mile racetrack is one of the oldest in the United States, and it's a very unique layout. 4 corners, but there's a little bit of a straightaway between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, connected by 2 much longer straightaways between 2 and 3 and 1 and 4. Obviously, high speeds here, well over 200 miles an hour getting off into turn number 1, and this is a track of precision. At the top of 4th gear, you're going to need to slam on those brakes, get that car pointed down to the inside, but don't touch those concrete curbs there. They'll certainly knock your day out of the line if you get on them. Exiting turn 1, you got to throttle up for just a moment before sliding back into turn number 2. This is a very typical road course corner where you have to go in slow in, fast out to get that run onto the long straightaway. This is a great corner, or a great straightaway to really use that draft to your advantage the best you can. Use all the speed that you can get down into turn number 3, jump on the brakes again. Great passing opportunity here before you enter turns 3 and turn number 4. But it can also go really, really wrong. You can hook those curbs again on the inside, and you don't want to do that, or it can end your day in disaster. And saving a car here is a tough task. Not a whole lot of banking to catch the race car, and walls are very close. Not a whole lot of runoff room either, so this is a very tricky track to get right. So tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, there's so much on the line for so many drivers, but one driver that's sitting pretty right now is Conor Horn in the number 42 Finian. A win last week at Texas, and a couple weeks prior to that at Las Vegas. He is looking very, very solid in the points picture.
Yeah, indeed he is. He's got pretty much nothing to worry about this race. In fact, the entire top 3 in points are locked in. They have no shot at being taken out of the points, and if anything were to happen. So Conor Horn, Eric Hutton, and Eli Hinton will be guaranteed into the playoffs. The next 5 positions, though, have still yet to be determined until we take the checkered flag here tonight.
All right, and you can see Conor Horn right now sitting second on the grid at the moment. Eric Hutton is your current pole sitter. Angelo Ronis in the number 31. He's back a little ways in that bubble picture, so he's going to need to really have an extraordinary night here. Probably not going to be a likely night for him, but I do think that Alec Martinez in the 18 has a great shot at it, and he's third. He's been very, very quick here tonight. The question is, can he last for all 80 laps here this evening?
Yeah, again, we were talking about stepping it up and making a good performance, and right now he's doing just that, qualifying in 3rd, so that's really the stuff he needs to get done for tonight. Unfortunately for Joshua Banks, who also needs a good night, he's currently qualified back in 12th, so he's going to have to cut through some traffic, and we've seen him get some pace. Indianapolis is a really tricky track to drive, though, so it'll be kind of tough to tell who's got the pace and who doesn't early on.
Yeah, so talking about a guy like Joshua Banks here, Finian, obviously he's come on really, really strong in recent weeks. Had a fantastic run at Richmond, ended up winning that race, then comes out at Texas and has a great night there as well, just short of winning. The only driver in his way was Conor Horn, but tonight he has to put on an even better show if he wants to go make this chase, and he's proven that he can be a contender. What do you think about his chances here tonight?
I think he's definitely got a good shot. He's at 9 points above the cutoff line to Mark Emerson and Jeremiah Vincent. So really, he just needs to make sure he finishes ahead of them, and he'll be making his way into the playoffs. So I think that's really all he's got to worry about and keep on his mind, and just let the race come to him.
Absolutely. Well, let the race come to you. It's also 80 laps here, Finney, and obviously running a restricted fuel tank here tonight, so fuel strategy might come into play a little bit later in this night. It's not a short race by any means. 80 laps around a 2.5-mile track. It's going to be a little bit of a long one tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tight on fuel as well. These guys can go 27 laps on a tank. If they pit at lap 26, they can make it on one more stop, and so it's going to be pretty tight with the fuel. So these guys got to make sure they don't burn up too much, excessively use the gas, and just kind of manage that, because otherwise it could be really caught out on pit strategy.
Absolutely. A pit stall just popped into existence behind me there as drivers are up on the grid. So in a moment, we'll take a look at our starting order. But, Finian, obviously some drivers going to be more likely than others to come home with a checkered flag tonight. But one driver that some people have looked as an unlikely winner this year, Alec Martinez in the number 18 Craftsman Toyota. And he's been really good at qualifying, but hasn't been able to outlast and win a race. So his chances tonight, he looks pretty fast, but is it going to be enough to go out there and get himself into this chase?
I mean, if he can maintain the position he's got, he definitely has the shot. Again, that's the big thing, is that maintaining that spot here. And this is one of the more difficult tracks to drive on the NASCAR circuit just due to its nature. It was never designed for stock cars. It was purely designed for IndyCar racing. And with that in mind, these cars, it's really tough to take these cars around here. Very much single lane, very much a single lane track. And if you make one mistake, you can find yourself in the wall very easily here.
See the cars rolling off the racetrack behind me, and they got one pace lap. We'll turn them loose for 80 laps around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's going to be an all-out brawl. The last time we were at Indianapolis, Vinny, and there was quite the race we got to see. So we're very excited for this evening. It's going to be a good one tonight. Remember Hardline Cup Series action here a few weeks ago, and what a race that was. Let's take a look at your starting lineup for tonight. On the front row, Eric Hutton in the number 88 car alongside Conor Horn in the 42 ZL1 Camaro, last week's winner at Texas, the second win on the season. Heading back to row 3, Alec Martinez in the 18, Ben Bafford in the 23. Both those cars looking for better seasons, but Alec Martinez certainly sitting right in a great spot if he wants to come home with a chase spot tonight. Jordan Ashland in 5th, Bailey Turner 6th, and the rest of the starting order will roll across the bottom of your screen there. But track position going to be important tonight, as will the strategy. It's not an easy race to win here, especially with the flat corners. A lot of braking and a lot of action here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thanks for joining us here on Sim TV. I'm Kyle Heyer here with Finney and DeCuna for round number 10 of the Virtual Racing League Cup Series. New driver here tonight, Yusuf Ghali in the number 1 car. He'll be starting, I believe that was in 10th place. William Troy in 11th, Joshua Banks in 12th. And Banks didn't get the qualifying effort he's been getting recently, so can he hang on and get another great finish tonight? We're about to find out, as the pace car is going to pull off and turn the field over to the hands of Eric Hutton in the number 88 car. He already has a couple victories under his belt. Can he get another one here tonight? We're about to find out. Green flag in the air at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for round 10 and the season finale of the regular season for the Virtual Racing League Cup Series. Down to turn 1.
Yeah, Hutton already has got a small lead over Conor Horn and the rest of the field, but they're side by side for 3rd place. Bafford trying to make it work on the outside of Martinez. He's going to get the spot.
Out of turn 2. Looks pretty orderly so far here, Finian.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's trying to get single file out. And remember what I said earlier, that this is very much a single lane track. Because not really much, you don't really want to be side by side for too long, unless you're trying to make the pass work. And you're definitely seeing some guys trying to make the passes early on in this run.
You see Jordan Ashland trying to do something on the bottom in that number 27 car. I believe he's another driver on the outside looking in, so he's going to have to do some work tonight. You see him to the inside of Angelo Ronis there. But for the lead, Conor Horn has not lost any ground on Eric Hutton, but now you see some jostling going back there. That's the 33 of AJ Stravato in 8th place. He's got Bruce Boyer in the 14 right behind him.
Yeah, actually, Jordan Ashland is currently sitting 5th in points, so he's pretty much good. Still has a chance of getting knocked out, but it's very unlikely. However, Angelo Ronis and AJ Stravato are both trying to vie their way in. Stravato, the closer of the two, and he had a pretty good qualifying effort and has actually got a run on the 31 here.
A little bit of a tight moment there on the exit of turn number 2. You saw, it looks like it was Reggie Ortega in that yellow and black Hertz Camaro. He was in the middle of some chaos there, but they have it sorted out. Mark Emerson tucked in behind him as well. We've got one wide there. That's William Troy in the number 87, out of the groove, but looks like he'll retain at least a couple spots here. It looked like he was going farther back than that.
Back up front for the lead. It looks like Conor Horn's caught up to Eric Hutton, and they actually both have broken away from the rest of the field.
But notably, Alec Martinez still in third place, holding on to that spot for now. But there is the 35 of Joshua Banks rocking a new paint scheme here this week to the inside of Bruce Boyer. That will put him inside the top 10. And that'll be plus 2 spots already for Banks, so he's going forward. You see Troy get a piece of the wall behind these guys here. He continues to lose spots.
Yeah, and again, you don't want to damage your car here. It's very early on in this race, and it's going to pretty much screw you up down the line, especially in an 80-lap race around a difficult track like this.
207 off into turn 3 for Joshua Banks. Got around Boyer for 10th. Now setting his sights on Angelo Ronis just up the road there. You see some sparks flying, some light contact with the wall or the racetrack, but everyone gotten themselves into line. Pretty orderly start here, already working lap number 3. Eric Hutton has begun to stretch the lead just a tiny bit, but behind Banks, still lots of shuffling.
Yeah, and well, one of your biggest movers in the race so far is Bailey Turner, who jumped up from 6th to 4th. Most people have only really gained or lost a position. No one's really there's not really too much movement so far in this race, and that's not really surprising.
Again, Indianapolis is not known for being an easy place to pass, and we're seeing that already here tonight. And Turner is closing in on Alec Martinez for that 3rd spot. We'll see if he has any time to get there. And you see that's John Rodden, and the number 96 actually might have scraped the wall there on the back straightaway behind William Troy. And Troy had an atrocious start, started up in the 11th spot all the way back down to 22nd right now. Reggie Ortega, Ben Izenga on the number 17. They're still battling for spots here. I think really from 12th on back, it's still kind of chaotic as everyone tries to find their place in line. And obviously, qualifying doesn't mean a ton at a lot of racetracks, and this being one of them, and one little mistake can ruin your whole lap. And I think everyone's just trying to find their way in order.
Yeah, and really, I think we're also seeing in the back too, we're seeing some guys that might have had a bad qualifying lap, but have some good pace with them. They're going to try to work their way up through the field. Guys like Joshua Banks that we typically see week in, week out, when he has a bad qualifying effort, he somehow finds his way up through the field, and is doing that tonight. Qualified in 12th up to 10th, and trying to take away 9th from Angelo Ronis up ahead.
Oh, Izenga's out of the groove in turn 4 there, or 3 there, excuse me, Finian. Lost a couple spots there, and it looks like Elliot Butler in the 36 is going to take advantage. And here comes Jeremiah Vincent as well in the number 8 Wrangler car to the inside. Now we're 3 wide up here. Joshua Banks, Angelo Ronis, and Yusuf Ghali in the number 1 car. He's a new driver here tonight in that Ford Fusion. It looks like he started in 10th spot and has got just pushed back to 10th after getting passed by a couple vehicles here. And now he's got Bruce Boyer trying to take that spot away from him as well. So still a lot of movement going on. And behind them more still, Reggie Ortega's been in the middle of a hornet's nest ever since lap number 1.
Indeed he has, and this has not been able to break away from it. He's actually lost a spot to Mark Emerson, so he's going to have to try to get that back from him. See
Elliot Butler there hanging on. Then Izenga trying to cross back over Chris Garrett, number 57. Remember, his first race was Las Vegas a few weeks ago, finished 2nd in that race. Not a great starting position for the 57. Started in 22nd, now up to 17th, though, making good forward progress. But up for the lead here, Finian. Might have a challenge on our hands here in a moment.
Yeah, Conor Horn's just been stalking the back bumper of the 88 of Eric Hutton. Remember, both these drivers are good to go into the next round, so they really don't have anything to worry about here. They're pretty much just fighting for the win. And I think we're seeing that here. I think we're seeing a bit of patience from the 42 Conor Horn, just kind of letting Eric Hutton maybe use up his stuff and waiting for an opportunity to strike.
And back here, Eli Hinton is also stuck in this Hornet's Nest in the number 13 car. Looks like he started in 19th, only up to 17th right now. And this is a guy whose season has probably gone off the rails a little bit here, Finney, and started out as easily one of the top championship contenders, and then in recent weeks has been consistently there, but just hasn't quite been the force that he was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to what that fall-off really is. I think what we're seeing tonight, again, he's one of the drivers that's good to go, so I think he's just kind of riding this race out. Probably knew that he wasn't going to have much luck here, so he's just kind of riding it through. But I think we might see him step up in the next few weeks, and I mean, he's going to have to. He's got some stiff competition. He wants to win this championship.
Down the back straightaway, it looks like...
battle up front for the lead.
Oh, yep, side by side for a moment, but Conor Horn will tuck back in behind Eric Hutton. And you know both these guys are finishing extremely dominant And it hasn't been without some drama. Conor Horn, obviously not the most favorite driver in the garage area, but you cannot deny his success this season, especially after a couple rough weeks at New Hampshire and Richmond. Following both those races, went out the next week and absolutely dominated. And here he is again tonight, trying to do more of the same, riding right behind the 88 of Hutton, looking to take that lead away. You might use the slipstream here a little bit. Obviously, the low downforce package these cars have, you can see the draft is a little bit of an advantage, but not an enormous one here. So Horn will not be able to get by the 88, but certainly close some of that gap on the straightaway. He'll have to try, again, a little bit later in the race once he's gotten that car more to his liking. But just behind, let's not lose sight that the fact that Alec Martinez has not dropped a single spot since the start, this could be a career best day for him if he completes this race.
And again, needed to just secure himself into the next round. And one guy who's currently enjoying his run as far as making it to the playoffs is Adrian Stravado. The way he's running right now, he needed to finish get 4 points over Mark Emerson and Jeremiah Vincent, and is currently doing that at the moment by a good margin over both those drivers. So he I'm sure he would love the race to end now as it is, but he's still got to hold out for 70 more laps.
Oh, Eli Hinton and Jeremiah Vincent side by side in turn number 1. Vincent almost lost it out of turn number 4, drifted full on sideways, but managed to collect it, but that left him vulnerable to Eli Hinton to the inside, and there might be a position swap here that'll be for the 16th place. And Hinton will clear Vincent heading off into turn number 3. But no, Jeremiah drives around the outside. What a power move. Can he complete the pass?
Yeah, it's a very tough move to make on the outside, but Vincent's going to stick it in there, try to hold on for dear life, while Hinton's going to try to get it here, and he might get a spin it up ahead.
Oh, Bruce Boyer goes around in front of the field. Does anyone else get collected?
Wow, Hinton almost did.
Incredible job by the field to miss that, but obviously Bruce Boyer goes for a loop here on lap number 10. As the leaders tick over to lap number 11. So the first caution of the night is out, and I'm sure that's going to be a sigh of relief for some drivers that want some tires. And we've already lost about 3.5 to 4 seconds off of the pace of this race. Let's go back and take a look at what happened to the number 14. And it looks like he had some help there. The 75 of Robert Gaba, I believe, to the inside, and just tapped the rear bumper of the 14, sends him for a loop. I think for the most part, though, it was a close call for some drivers, but woof, everyone made it through without contact. Incredible job.
Yeah, I think you might want to get a view from Eli Hinton, because he was very close to getting involved in that.
Here's a look from on board the Gatorade number 13. He was side by side with Vincent as well, so both these guys did a great job. Looked for the gap, saw it, and went right for it and squeezed through. And that could have been a lot more drama than it was, so good job by everybody in the field. Let's take a closer look at what happened between Gaba and Boyer. I want to take a look from up above to see if we can see really whose fault this was here, Finney, and I want to hear your opinion about it.
Yeah, I mean, from the looks of it, it looks like they kind of just found each other on the same part of racetrack. I mean, it's kind of hard to put blame, in my opinion.
I know who Bruce Boyer thinks is at fault for that one. And that would be the 75. But everyone has got themselves sorted back out. Now the leaders are on pit lane, and everyone will come on down for some fresh tires and fuel. And on they come.
Yeah, like you said, the fall-off is tremendous here. So these guys are going to come in, even after running only 5 laps. They might even try to come in and get all 4 tires. It's just worth that much here.
The field comes onto pit lane on lap number 12 to get tires and fuel. You mentioned the fall-off here, Finney. We haven't taken the chance to look at the weather for tonight's race as the field pulls off the pit lane. 107 degrees on the racetrack, 83 in the sky. So it's going to cool down a little bit as the day, and you just see it tick down to 106 right as I say that. And it's already dropped about 10 degrees since practice. So as the night goes on, it will get cooler and cooler, and the grip levels will rise. But for now, it's going to be quite uncomfortable out there.
And after a really close race off of pit road, Hutton's going to get it over Martinez by a nose. If even, maybe even a splitter. It was that close at the line.
Go back and take a look at that, actually. I was busy playing weatherman. And here's the race off pit road from up above. You'll see the 18 of Alec Martinez coming here. And what a race, Martinez. If it had been another 2 feet, Martinez might have had him, but Eric Hutton rolls off the pit lane. Conor Horn drops a spot. Alec Martinez picks one up, and we'll head back live here.
Yeah, Martinez is also very lucky that cars are not solid coming out of pit road.
Yeah, he was certainly testing it there for sure. All right, so 10 laps in here, Finney. I think we have our favorites solidified. I'd say anyone in that top 4 really has the potential to win this race. But between Hutton and Conor Horn, I'm curious as to see who you think is going to be the one that outlasts all this tonight.
I mean, from the looks of it, I think that Hutton's got it. I mean, he looks like he's pretty good over the course of the run. I just don't think Conor Horn's got what it takes at the moment to get the job done. And especially now he's going to be stuck behind 2 cars, and Martinez has definitely shown that he has the pace too, so he's going to have to fight for that spot as well with him.
Yeah, you mentioned Martinez too. I really think if tonight's going to be the night, that would be a very good timing for him to get his first win on the season. And as we head back up to the front here, let's take a look. Eric Hutton, you said, was the guy to beat, and I think I gotta have to agree with you tonight, but I don't think it's Conor Horn's night, but I do think that 18 might have something to say about this before the night is over, and I believe he's there's only a couple Toyotas in the field. I think John Rodden is driving one of them, and I believe also Ben Izenga, the number 17, is driving a Camry as well. So there's not a whole lot of Toyota power in the field, but Alec Martinez is repping them right now.
Big championship implications here. Joshua Banks, he's lost connection to the server. So he's just reconnected back, but is going to fall to the tail end, and if he can't... Oop.
Your phone's ringing. So obviously Joshua Banks has lost connection, and that is, you mentioned it, huge implications. Let's take another look at the bubble standings here. And you see Joshua Banks was already in 9 points to the good, but look at some of the drivers behind that line. AJ Stravato right now running in P6, and that's going to be enough to get him in. So it looks like that car is going to have to get in there, as that's Joshua Banks. He's going to have to get back out of the racetrack and get as many points as he can. All right, so as we roll back around, we should get the 1 to green this time by. And that will turn the lead over to Eric Hutton. Alec Martinez will restart on the outside lane, and that can sometimes be some tricky way to restart a race at Indianapolis. That outside lane does not have a lot of grip out there, and is typically known for being very slippery, especially in the Indy cars, which have significantly more downforce than these cars do. So there's the 1 to green. And Bailey Turner will line up behind the 18 of Alec Martinez. And AJ Stravato will be behind the 24. So a pretty strong outside groove, but Martinez is really going to have to be creative on the restart if he wants to do anything with Eric Hutton.
Yeah, indeed he has, and it's going to, again, a lot of these guys up front have the shot at winning the race, and I think it's really going to come down to the initial start and the first few laps afterwards, because I think once these tires start to get worn out, it's really hard to pass, so we're really going to see these guys dogfight at the beginning, and then kind of settle into a groove. And also, just to know, Joshua Banks, he has joined back. He's listed currently as a lap down. I don't know if he's any more, but he is back in the race trying to recover from that. And this could be big for him if he can't get this lap back.
Yeah, okay. Here's the thing I would say about Joshua Banks. I would say his internet is still really struggling. Did he just lose connection? Oh no, he's there. I would say as long as his connection holds out, he might be okay here, Finian, because I know my good friend Larry McReynolds loves to say that cautions breed cautions. And at Indianapolis, I think we can really say that, as this place is not known for being clean after restarts. Just look back to 2017 NASCAR, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch getting into it on a restart, and they were playing together as really teammates, but they still managed to crash each other out and cause a wreck after restart. So we're not really clear until we all get strung out, and it's going to be a few laps before that happens.
Yeah, well, Banks is finally caught back up to the field. He is currently 1 lap down, but the only car a lap down in this event, so hopefully he can get a lucky break, and hopefully, as you said, cautions, precautions.
Pace car is going to pull off. We'll restart lap number 15 here. Not quite a quarter of the way done with this race yet. And Eric Hutton is in control for the restart. He takes off, and Alec Martinez will try to keep pace with him. Conor Horn will try to get back by Martinez on the inside before they get down to turn 1, and we're all drag racing down to that first 90-degree left.
And Bailey Turner is going to cut off Jordan Ashland and try to get a spot to the inside, as well as Martinez. He's going to slide in himself into third, as most of the people already get single file.
And I think everyone's playing nice right now, but as the race gets older, it's going to be harder and harder to get yourself in line. You see Ben Baffert in the 23 having a good run so far tonight, but you mentioned it, Finian. Conor Horn getting himself in second place again. There's Ben Izenga back here trying to look out a line to the inside of Gaba, and he looks like he's going to make that pass. Gaba's going to get pushed back to 14th place, and Jeremiah Vincent sits in 15th after narrowly avoiding that wreck with the 14 car a few laps ago.
Yeah, most of the cars, most of the drivers already straightened out and running single file already. Only one pass is trying to be made is the 33 of Stravato on the 27 of Jordan Ashland.
And Stravato works to the inside and might get the spot away, but Ashland's holding strong on the outside and clears Stravato before entering turn number 2. So he'll hang on for a little bit longer. Ben Baffert getting run over almost from Yusuf Ghali there in the number 1 car. And he moves to the inside now alongside the 23, and it's a drag race down to turn number 3.
And Ghali trying to still hold it side by side with Baffert. Baffert fell off quite a bit after the initial start, but was able to recuperate now and is trying to hang on to 7th and 8th place.
Out of turn 4, the 23 tries to cross over the 1, and Stravato goes after Ashland again here down the front straight. But pass for the lead, try to be made here. Conor Horn takes a look into turn number 1, can't get it done, but he is all over Eric Hutton as they enter turns 1 and 2. Alec Martinez has closed right back as well. It's a 3-way dogfight for the lead, lap number 17.
Yeah, and before on the initial start, we saw it was more of a 2-car battle between Horn and Hutton, but now Martinez kind of learned his mistakes on that first opening run and been able to hang in with the leaders.
See Conor Horn trying to get that left side tire all the way down to the curb. Slips there a little bit mid-corner, but not quite enough to lose him a spot. Let's take a quick look back to 14th. A little bit of chaos going on here. Eli Hinton, Robert Gaba, Jeremiah Vincent, and Casey Lakatos are all in this dogfight here. And just up the road, Mark Emerson goes 3 wide for a spot. Ben Baffert in the middle of it, and Angelo Ronas on the outside.
Yeah, Baffert made some contact with Ghali and had to check up, and that led him to be middle 3 wide, and Emerson's going to get 2 for 1 on the straightaway.
A great pass there for the 22, also driving for his life in the chase. See Reggie Ortega, he has not had a moment to breathe this entire night. He's been dogfighting with everyone. Eli Hinton also tucking in the line behind Robert Gaba. And there's Jeremiah Vincent popping out on Casey Lakatos, but Lakatos moves over to block that move into turn 3. Oh, Lakatos loose, out of control there for a moment. He's going to hang on to it. He actually had some rear end damage. Did he get a punt there?
Yeah, he got punted from behind from Jeremiah Vincent.
Lakatos gets the boot, and we'll lose a spot there to Chris Garrett. As the rest of the field tries to sort themselves out, Bruce Boyer trying to recover from being turned by the 75 of Robert Gaba off into turn number 1, gets to the inside of Brian Chambliss and will complete that pass. And just up the road here, we see another car out of the groove. It's Izenga 3 wide between 1 and 2. Gaba in the middle of it, Eli Hinton on the bottom. Looks like we'll sort that one out relatively cleanly. Here comes Chris Garrett in the 57 trying to break up the party.
Yeah,
oh! Contact! Oh, and that's going to be the 75 car of Gaba off the racetrack, and caution's going to be out. And that car comes to a screeching halt on the back straightaway after significant side-by-side contact there. Let's go back and take a look. And we saw it live, but I think we want to get an overhead view of this incident. It was Izenga and Chris Garrett. Ooh, they just kind of doored each other there, Fane. I don't really know who to put that on.
Yeah, I think Gaba on the inside thought that Izenga was going to move up more on the track, and Kana was trying to move up towards the wall, and Izenga didn't really move much, as much as Gaba thought. I think they ended up hitting each other.
Joshua Banks will receive the free pass here after all that, so looks like his night will be saved as long as his internet connection hangs on. You see there's the contact there again, and Brian Chambliss in the 21 got a little bit too close to this. He might have got his left side door scraped by the nose of that 75 as he drove by. So Chambliss looks like that car for the most part is in okay condition, and that contact was relatively light, maybe a little bit of a fender crinkle on that left front.
Yeah, Banks was fortunate enough to get that free pass back. However, he still is in last place. We still don't have any retirements tonight. so far in this race. But the way these guys are running right now, Joshua Banks and I believe Mark Emerson are out. And AJ Stravato...
Will we see a split decision on pit road here, Finian? Horn looked like he wanted to stay out, but no, everyone will come down pit lane once again. It hasn't really been a very long run, only about 8 laps, so as the rest of the field comes in, obviously the tire drop-off is pretty significant enough where you'd want to come in and get yourself some fresh tires.
Yeah, and I think, again, it's kind of a no-brainer move here. I think just the tire fall-off is too much to really kind of risk staying out, especially after a decent run like we had. It's just these guys got to come down and get their tires. So we'll see if maybe someone tries to do 2 tires. Well, it's a bit risky. And Conor Horn slid through his pit stall as well as Alec Martinez.
Oh, man, so that's going to hurt both of them. But Eric Hutton will probably come out of here in good shape once again. Will anyone try a 2-tire stop? I don't know if that might be the case for Elliott Butler. He got off there pretty quick here. Finney and Mark Emerson coming as well. But for the most part, from what I can see, 4-tire stops for everyone in the field. And Joshua Banks back on the lead lap after losing connection. And he'll get his race saved here. Quite a significant impact there that would have been if he had gotten knocked out. That would have knocked the chase bubble down to the next driver in line. So Banks will have a chance to go at it. A little bit of splitter damage there, though, so his aerodynamic situation is probably not perfect. But certainly running is a lot better than not running.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, he's not entirely safe yet. As I was saying earlier, he is currently still in last place, and the way they're running right now, Stravato is in and Banks is out. So Banks has got to make up the spots that he lost from losing connection. I just got word also that the 36 of Elliott Butler took 2 tires.
Ah, did he take 2 tires? At first, it didn't look like he did. My graphic is not working correctly. Ah, he did take 2 tires. It snuck under my radar there. It looked like he did. He came off pit road pretty quick. So Elliott Butler has put himself in P5, and that's going to comfort Alec Martinez just a little bit because he actually lost a couple spots on that cycle, and he's going to come out 4th. And really, honestly, 2nd's okay because you'll end up settling in 3rd, but if you're 4th, you might settle in 5th, and that'll be about as far back as Martinez has been all night. Conor Horn setting himself up for a pretty good restart again in 3rd place. All right, so far tonight, it's been a little bit carnage-filled. We've had a couple single-car spins, but for the most part, no crash damage for anybody. Robert Gaba came down pit road to receive some damage service and is back out on track in 23rd place. For Joshua Banks, the caution saved him. He was disconnected from the server and has gotten himself back in the game. Obviously, still running in the chase, and hopefully he can get himself back up there and get himself locked back in. But for now, Eric Hutton leads Bailey Turner 2nd. Conor Horn 3rd, Alec Martinez 4th, Elliott Butler 5th. But Finian, been a crazy night so far at Indianapolis.
Yeah, indeed it has been, and it's definitely far from over with the way these guys have been fighting up for the lead and just throughout the field for the final playoff spots.
And Conor Horn's going to be in a good position to attack Eric Hutton again. I think if you get into a long run, that 42 car is going to be the one to beat.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if he has been, how much he has been holding back, if anything. So, and just if he's kind of just been egging on Eric Hutton and just kind of letting him run, giving him a false sense of security throughout this race so far. So we'll see if that 42 is hiding anything later in the run.
So still got another lap and a half or so of caution. And so far tonight, we've had 2 cautions for a total of 6 laps, 2 lead changes so far tonight. But for the most part, Eric Hutton has been the one in control. And that's really been true in the season as well. But Conor Horn trying to wrench that away from Hutton later. And obviously, Finian, one of the next challenges is next week at Watkins Glen. That's going to be a real challenge for some of these drivers, going left and right at the 7-turn road course in upstate New York. And that's always a tricky place and kind of a wild card in Oval League racing. You never know who's going to come out on top there.
Yeah, especially it'll be the first road course race for these guys this season, and only road course race with these guys this season, and it's in the playoffs. And again, with the playoff system that VRL is running, it is pretty much the traditional chase format that we're in from 04 to, I believe, 2014. or 2013?
2013 was the last year of that format.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so basically, once it starts, it's just the top 8 drivers, and as many points as they can get in those 5 rounds, the one who gets the most will be the champion. So very straightforward format, and it's going to be interesting to see, with a lot of leagues running the newer style NASCAR form with eliminations. This is more the traditional style. We'll see. I can guarantee that we're going to see some interesting fighting between a lot of the top guys in this league.
Well, speaking of eliminations, Finian, we're going to have some trouble because Joshua Banks gone again, and as well as Eli Hinton as well. So there are some internet issues going on for Banks at least. I don't really know what happened to the 13, but 2 of those cars that were running off the racetrack now, and Finian, Joshua Banks does not need this.
Yeah, it looks like Hinton's was a manual disconnect, but Joshua Banks, he lost connection to the server, and I think this is kind of the nail in the coffin for him. Eli Hinton has connected back, so I'm not sure what was wrong on his end. But yeah, Joshua Banks, this is really not going his way so far.
All right, out of turn 4, the Ford FR500 pace car is going to pull off once again. It'll leave the field in the hands of Eric Hutton one more time tonight. Bailey Turner on the outside in that flame-covered Exalta number 24. Green flag flies again, lap number 24. The 24 moves over, tries to block the 42. Obviously, there's some disagreements there. The 42 is going to swing back to the right side of the racetrack to try to enter on the high side of Bailey Turner. Alec Martinez looking on from behind in 4th. Out of turn number 2, side by side for 2nd behind leader Eric Hutton.
And Horn's going to make the pass on the outside of Bailey Turner. He's going to get 2nd place back under his wing, and Martinez is trying to take away 3rd from Bailey Turner.
And will he complete that pass? It looks like he will, so move Alec Martinez back to 3rd. And he'll drive off into turn number 3, back in the 3rd position. Elliott Butler up here. He was on 2 tires. How's this working for him? Up the road, Alec Martinez slips. Bailey Turner takes 3rd back away. Mark Emerson to the inside of the 18 now. Out of turn number 4. Almost contact between those 2. Martinez goes wide. Emerson split 3 wide. Here comes Yusuf Ghali in the 1.
And it is absolute chaos here in the midfield with everyone shuffling for positions.
Off into turn 1 now. Martinez gets clear in 4th place. Ghali and Emerson battling behind him. Here comes Jordan Ashland as well. Needs to really have a good night. Can't afford a crash, so he's got to be careful. AJ Stravato tucked in behind. And Ben Bafford about to be split 3 wide here if he's not careful. Angelo Ronis coming in hot.
Yeah, Ronis again, one of those drivers on the outside looking into the playoffs, and with Banks now out of the picture, a lot of these guys are looking to take advantage of that and trying to get themselves in the playoffs.
Jordan Ashton to the inside of the 33 and the 1 now, trying to steal away 6th place from Yusuf Ghali, but up front, Conor Horn is right on the rear bumper of Eric Hutton, but we're not going to go up there just yet as the battle right now is going on for 7th place. Stravato pops out of line to try to steal one from Jordan Ashland.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough to make this work here. We've seen many times that the guy on the outside can get a good run on the in-between straightaway between 1 and 2 and in 3 and 4, and we see Ashland getting around Stravato.
See the leaders there, Hutton and Horn out front now by 1.3 seconds over Bailey Turner. Then it's another half second back to Alec Martinez. But Hutton and Horn, really the class of the field tonight. You could throw Alec Martinez in there as well once he gets clear of Turner, but obviously made a mistake on the restart. That's put him back in traffic just a little bit. All right, well, things have calmed down a little bit for the time being. Now you see that's the 57 to Chris Garrett taking a peek out on Angelo Ronis, just getting out of the mirror, and he's going to dive to the inside in turn number 1, try to get alongside. That'll be for the 10th spot if he can complete it, but can't quite do it. Ronis fights back on the outside.
Yeah, I think we're definitely seeing these guys struggling to make passes on the inside. It's so hard to pull it off. Really, I think the best bet for a lot of these guys to make the pass on the outside lane, and they can pinch the guy they're passing to the inside. Oh, and I see Stravato giving a bump to Jordan Ashland down the back straightaway.
Down off into turn number 3. Stravato is really pushing that 27 car through, and now he's going to be to the inside of the newbie Yusuf Ghali. And can he get a fender in? Whoa! Ghali throws the block into turn number 4, excuse me. And will come out and maintain 7th spot, will the 1 car of Ghali. Joshua Banks and Eli Hinton both back out on track. Hinton 1 lap down. Joshua Banks 4 laps down. Could be hard to recover from that. You see Ronis to the inside of Bafford off into turn 1.
Yeah, I think really Joshua Banks' internet connection is really going to be the thing that kills him today. We saw him have that one incident, and that was fine. He was able to get back on the lead lap, but that second one really it put him 4 laps down. That's going to be really tough to recover from as we're approaching halfway through this race.
Got 12 laps until the halfway point of this event. You see Jeremiah Vincent in the number 8 car not having the night he really needs. Oh, goes wide, goes the 57 of Chris Garrett. He's going to lose a couple spots there. Might have gotten a punt from somebody. And 4, 5, 6 spots he might lose here. Elliott Butler back to 15th. That 2-tire strategy, that's a no-go for him, I think, from here on out.
Yeah, I think he definitely wanted to try something. He was back in the field when he made his pit stop and needed to try to do something to get him up to the front. And he got him up to the front, but he wasn't able to really stay there with those older tires. So I definitely think 4 tires is that clearly shows on track that 4 tires is the way to go.
And already we've only been out here for it looks like 8 laps. Already lost almost 2 seconds on the lap time. So very quickly the tires will degrade here and leave you in a bad position if you have anything less than the freshest tires available. Whoa, Butler throwing a block on Izenga down the back straightaway off into turn number 3. Izenga will go to the outside to try to complete that pass.
Oh, and John Rodden has some major damage to the nose of his car.
Oh, wow. Yeah, big hit for the 96. Do we see where that came from?
Yeah, oh, it looks like the 87 of Troy got into the wall out of 2 and was spinning in front of the 96, and he had nowhere to go but getting into the back of him. And I think that's going to end John Rodden's night.
Oh, yeah, Troy got into the 14. Wow, Rodden slammed into the 87, and of course that will probably be a retirement for the 96. Nothing he could have done to miss that. Let's ride on board with him here. And this has really not been Rodden's season at all, but out of turn number 2, see the slip by the 87, bounces off the 14, and slams into the back there. Nothing that John Rodden could do. You're committed to the throttle at that point. There's no backing out of that.
Oh, and big turn of events here. Bailey Turner has fallen all the way back down the field. And it looks like he got loose off of one, in between 1 and, got loose coming off of turn 1.
Here's another look at it. Did he have help from the 18? Doesn't look like it. Just put the power down a little bit too soon. Oh, got into the fence there, Finian. Very similar to what happened to the 87. Almost lost control, but locked the brakes down. Did a good job recovering from that. And will rejoin the racetrack, but he'll be in 13th place.
Well, through all the chaos and carnage, Jeremiah Vincent has moved himself up into 9th place. And again, one of those guys trying to vie for that spot and is trying to get ahead of Angelo Ronas, another driver he's fighting with to get that spot. But really, Vincent's been making the best of this situation.
You know, who's making the best of the situation? Eric Hutton still holding on to the lead. Conor Horn is behind him here, but by 0.4 of a second. Horn has not been able to track him down and actually pass him. He's gotten close a few times. But back in 3rd place, Alec Martinez hanging on. Mark Emerson now in 4th place. A good night for that 22 car.
Yeah, good night for him, and it's been a long time coming. He's struggled a lot this season in several different races, but has had some shines of greatness. Fell off of back in the points, but really is making the best of it right now, and is currently running in 4th after starting in 16th.
Elliott Butler and Bailey Turner battling for the 13th spot. Another car almost scraped the wall out of turn 2. I think it was the 17 of Ben Izenga, but he collects it. Now we'll head back up to Bailey Turner and Elliott Butler. Turner's got some right side damage, and that's going to be affecting his handling. He got that safer barrier pretty good out of turn 1. Pass for 4th place now. Jordan Ashland to the inside of Emerson.
And this is teammates here trying to work together at least somewhat. They really can't afford to be fighting, and yeah, Emerson's going to give Ashland a bit of a bump down the front straightaway.
Izenga to pit lane in the number 17 car here. And I'm going to imagine that's for probably some damage. Don't really see why you'd pit under green flag conditions here right now.
Actually, I think I know why he's pitting. These guys are pretty close on fuel as far as making it to the end. After lap 26, these guys are able to make it to the end on 1 stop. We got the green on lap 24. We took the green flag. So it's kind of close, and I don't know. I think Izenga is committed to doing 2 stops, but I'm kind of curious if anyone else in the field is still going to try to do 1 stop to the end.
I guess we'll see if anyone will try, but out up front, Eric Hutton leads now by nearly a second over Conor Horn. Horn is losing touch. Alec Martinez is actually closing in a little bit on Conor Horn. So Martinez last time through was about 1/100th of a second quicker than Horn. And that 18 car is staying in a great spot if he wants to make himself into the chase here. Let's check on back with Chris Garrett, Jeremiah Vincent, Angelo Ronas. These guys in a pretty tight battle for 8th place. And Reggie Ortega in 11th. This has been a long night for him so far. Almost got himself in a couple wrecks early. Was in the middle of a hornet's nest, managed to get out of it alive. And with no damage, that's at least I can see visibly. So he's in good shape with that number 2 car. So closing in on halfway, about 6 or 7 laps away from the halfway point. I think we've kind of established our favorites here tonight in terms of who we think is going to win. Eric Hutton, Conor Horn, Alec Martinez. I think in that order is what I would predict them to win, as much as a cop-out as that is. How about the new guy, though? Yusuf Ghali sitting in 7th place right now in that number 1 car. Good night.
Yeah, having a solid night indeed. Has been mostly around the midfield, but and has fought with several different drivers, winning and losing battles, but has definitely put on quite a show. And definitely showing that he has some pace here, being the new guy, and definitely expect to see him improve as his career here at VRL goes on.
And Eric Hutton continues to lead, but Conor Horn really dropping off the pace now. A 52.9 last time through. That was 0.2 slower than Eric Hutton and 0.3 slower than Alec Martinez. Martinez was the quickest car on track last time through by 1/10. And he actually scrapes the wall on the straightaway there. Keep it in line there, Alec, but he's coming.
Yeah, Martinez is coming. If he can keep it going at the pace he is, he might actually catch Conor Horn. I'm actually kind of surprised that Horn's falling off the pace like this. I'm kind of curious, actually, even if he's falling off the pace or if he's just kind of letting off and letting Hutton use up his stuff. So we'll see as the run goes on if Horn's just kind of playing mind games here and just kind of giving that false security to the 88.
AJ Stravato and Mark Emerson getting relatively close on the racetrack. Will Stravato go for a pass that would put him solidly inside the top 5? And here he takes a look off into turn number 3. Emerson's going to give them the line. Not a lot of room, though. And Stravato works him up the racetrack just a little bit, off into turn 4 now, door to door. And I think Stravato will come out on top after all this.
And Stravato is currently fighting with Vincent for that final spot in the playoffs. The way these guys have come out in this race at the moment. So Stravato needs to get as many points as he can over Jeremiah Vincent, 4 in fact over Vincent. So every position counts, and he needs to get ahead of Emerson to do so.
And out of turn 2, it gets a really good exit. Emerson slides up wide, and that'll give the 33 a great run down the back straightaway. He'll probably have that 5th place car cleared and take over that spot. Yusuf Ghali is going to take advantage of that and head to the inside of Emerson off into turn number 3. And move Emerson back to 7th.
Yeah, it's going to move Emerson back to 7th. And remember, Vincent's only 2 positions behind, and those guys are equal on points. So whichever one finishes ahead between the both of them will make their way into the playoffs here.
Riding on board now with Reggie Ortega, who is currently 10th, but Angelo Ronas wants that spot to the inside. Here comes the 31. Peak-sponsored car, gets a quarter panel in there, but can't quite get to the inside of the 2.
Yeah, it's very tempting to put a nose in there, but it's just so hard to go there side by side, and you really risk dumping the guy ahead of you by doing so. So Ronas back down and is going to try to build up a run on the back straightaway.
And will he take a look off into turn 3? That's a risky place to make a move with the braking zone, but won't be close enough to try it that time by. Alec Martinez has dropped off the pace a little bit and has lost a tiny bit of ground to Conor Horn. Jordan Ashland is closing in, though, in that 4th spot in the number 27. And Ashland's season has kind of been up and down here, Finney. He's had some really, really good races and some really, really poor ones. Tonight looks like a good one.
Yeah, indeed. And if he can keep up this momentum heading to the playoffs, he might be one to fight with the guys like Eric Hutton and Conor Horn up for the championship. But he's going to really need to get some solid finishes in. He can't afford to have any bad ones, as it is only 5 races for the championship.
Emerson loses another spot to Chris Garrett in the 57. Garrett's come forward quite a way. Started nearly dead last in 22nd, up to 7th place now. So Garrett on the move in that 57 Camaro. And could be a threat in some races later this season, the way he's been running. I think he's just like Joshua Banks, though, a guy that needs to qualify a little bit better if he wants a chance to win. Speaking of Joshua Banks, still trapped 4 laps down. That's a real shame for him.
Yeah, definitely give him a pat on the back, though, for sticking it in here and trying to make the best of a situation. And Mark Emerson's coming into the pits.
Scheduled pit stop for the 22 coming on down. We're at the halfway point of this race here, Finian. So Mark Emerson taking note of that, dropping to pit lane, and I think we might see a waterfall of cars start to make that trip down as well.
Yeah, these guys still can go longer till about lap 47 or so before we're going to see them start peeling into the pits. But I think any people coming in now are committing to a 2-stop. I'm curious still if we're going to see anyone try to do the 1-stop. It's a big stretch, but someone's going to try to do it, I imagine.
Eli Hinton, the driver of the number 13 car, is 1 lap down. He might go 2, and he's really on battling for his life here. He needs to stay out in front of the 88, who you see get loose off a turn 4. He needs to keep himself in front of that 88, so if the caution comes out, he'll get a free pass. And now you see Jordan Ashland coming to pit lane in the number 27 car, Jeremiah Vincent in the 8, Brian Chambliss and Bailey Turner all coming down as well. And add Ben Baffer to the list.
Yeah, I think these are guys feeling that they cannot make it to the end on one more stop, so everyone kind of trying to even out the stint and get the most out of their tire lives. Remember, we've been talking about tires all night long and how important they are, so these guys are going to try to get the most out of their tires.
Ashland to pit lane. But Eric Hutton has pulled up to a 1.8 second lead over Conor Horn, and that's a pretty solid advance that Eric Hutton has made on this run. I think he's clearly the quicker one out of the 2.
And Jeremiah Vinton has slid through his pit stall severely, and it was spent a lot of time backing up and rearranging himself, so he's going to lose probably 10-15 seconds on the track.
Alec Martinez to pit lane from 3rd. And this is important here, Finian, because he was not too far behind Conor Horn and Eric Hutton, so the tire advantage is worth almost 4 seconds a lap now. So if Martinez gets out right now, he could be the leader at the end of this run here. So Eric Hutton and Conor Horn have to respond to this relatively quickly if they want to hang on to that spot.
Yeah, smart move by Martinez, as he's actually having quite a bit of internet issues at the moment, but definitely a smart move trying to get himself in a better position than the other 2 guys being out in front of them. So we'll see how Martinez does pulling into his stop.
Nice clean stop for him. Let's keep an eye on this pit stop. See Mark Emerson leaving now. Question is, did Emerson's a lap behind Alec Martinez. Okay, so Martinez is off of pit lane now. And the pit stop looked like it was a 14.2. So not a blazingly fast pit stop, but it's not going to matter. Here comes Eric Hutton to pit lane. Interestingly, Conor Horn stays out here, Finian. Maybe the different strategy for that Credit 1 Bank 42.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was. I think Horn's probably trying to even out their runs just a little bit more, maybe maximize his tire life as much. But again, that's putting him at a slight disadvantage early on in the run, as the guys behind him are going to get a better run with fresher tires, and he's going to fall back through the field.
AJ Stravato also on pit lane, but the rest of everyone else, they still have to make a pit stop at some point. Conor Horn now leads Yusuf Ghali by 5.8 seconds. Reggie Ortega in the 2 I believe he's got fresh tires on board that car and trying to get around. Oh, contact! The 2 car's going to get spun out of turn number 4. Willie, this caused a caution. Out of control, spins down to the apron. And so far we stay green, but tragedy for the 2 car. Oh, where's Chris Garrett going to go? He spins out and hits the wall. There's the caution now. Chaos entering pit road. That was just a mess there, Finian.
Yeah, indeed there was. And yeah, unfortunately, Garrett got involved in that. Well, was a victim of that, trying to get into pit road, but couldn't do it because Ortega was in the way.
Well, that was quite the long wreck that took to happen here. Let's take a look at it from up above. You see the 23 get into the back of the 2 after he was checking up for the 42. Now, this was a long crash. See the 2 car sliding back and forth. See the 23 bail from pit lane, knowing the caution would come out, but the caution's still not out here. Then the 2 car tries to get going. Chris Garrett slams on the brakes, trying to miss him, and hits that pit wall, and I believe that's what actually triggered the yellow. But then Reggie Ortega came down to pit lane, so that was quite the wreck there.
Yeah, indeed it was, and it's going to benefit Conor Horn, as he didn't come in yet. and he's going to be able to come in and get some fresh tires.
Well, one person this is going to actually hurt, I believe, is the 18 of Alec Martinez, because he didn't get a chance to get by Eric Hutton before that caution flew. So Eric Hutton got saved by that. You see Garrett locking up the brakes into the fence. Spun around, you see the caution lights blinking up there on the grandstand. So Garrett did not come to pit lane after all that, and Reggie Ortega might have an EOL because he pitted when the pits were closed.
Yeah, the entire top 8 did not come down a pit road yet, so all those guys are going to benefit from being able to come down pit road and have the freshest tires in the field compared to everyone else around them.
All right, so Martinez is on the lead lap, and that is a good thing, but Finian, if he ends up in traffic here, he's been good tonight up front, but if he gets buried in traffic, I don't know if the same magic we've seen tonight will be true back there as well. So he really has to keep his composure, understand that he might have gotten put a foot back here, and his advantage was gone after trying to outsmart Eric Hutton. And now he's going to have to go out there and just outright beat Hutton, and that's a hard thing to do. So he's got to keep his mind together, keep himself composed, and go out there and really try to win this race and get himself in the chase. But he should be in good position if he has a good race and finishes inside the top 5.
Yeah, definitely someone who got put on the back foot is Mark Emerson, having to come down twice on pit road. I believe got a penalty of some sort that he had to come back down and serve, and that put him a lap down, and he's going to be potentially trapped a lap down. I think he's going to get a free pass, being able to take the waiver on here.
Martinez comes back to pit lane, and I don't know about this one here, Finney, and I'm not sure why you would do that. You're only out there for maybe a lap, and you're going to lose all that track position advantage.
I mean, he realistically is only going to fall back to. There are only 14 cars on the lead lap, and he was 11. So, realistically, he's only going to probably lose 2-3 spots. I think he probably figured might as well.
Well, my fear here is that I mean, I guess did the 88? No, the 88's still out on track, and my fear here is that Martinez gets buried in traffic. And see, I don't quite understand this. I'd come down for a splash of fuel, but if he gets buried in traffic, Finney, I just don't know if he'll have the same speed. But I guess we'll see where he'll line up here in a moment. Looks like it'll be 6th place.
Yeah, notably, Eric Hutton's the only driver to stay out.
So maybe Martinez pitting wasn't that crazy. I guess we'll find out, though. I mean, I seem to question these strategy calls a lot, and I'm never right, so we'll see how it plays out. All right, well, let's take a deep breath here. We're past halfway in the 10th round of the Virtual Racing League Cup Series. This is the season finale for the regular season. Next week, we'll begin a 5-race chase starting at Watkins Glen International in upstate New York, a 2.45-mile road course, 7 corners there. 4 corners here tonight, but arguably, Finian, Indianapolis, as does Pocono, they kind of drive like a road course in the sense that there's a lot of braking and it's a slow in, fast out kind of racetrack. And maybe this is a sign of things to come next week at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I think so. I think it definitely requires something special, a lot more than what you traditionally see at ovals. This is a very unique oval track, so definitely I think we're going to see a decent amount transfer over to next week.
And that chase is not an easy one. Auto Club is in there, Dover, Darlington. It is certainly going to be a challenge for these drivers. And I think they've had the luxury the last couple weeks of having some, I don't want to say easy tracks, but tracks that are not very unique. And now we get to head to some tracks that are really the black sheep of the family in terms of the tracks in North America. And Darlington is extremely tricky, and that'll also be throwback night here in a couple weeks, so looking forward to that one. But Watkins Glen, Dover, another racetrack known as the Monster Mile, that will certainly be feasting on some fenders in a couple weeks. And I think there are some drivers in the field that are kind of dreading that one.
Yeah, indeed. And actually, if we can just cut the commercial here, just take a quick little break before the next run.
Absolutely. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back live to the Virtual Racing League Cup Series, round number 10. We were just talking with Andrew Telganoff. League administrator was driving through some of the communications fitting. Obviously very tense in there right now with the chase situation. And the pace car will pull off lap number 49, closing in on 30 laps to go. Eric Hutton again in command of the restart. Angelo Ronis, who hasn't been up front all day, on the outside. Green flag back in the air. And can Alec Martinez get himself back up to the front? Buried in 5th right now.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are going to try to go through the effort of trying to get up to the field. You see Conor Horn trying to ike out just underneath Angelo Ronis for 2nd place.
An aggressive move there, but Conor Horn gets himself back into 2nd. Now where does Alec Martinez pop out? He's still P5, needs to get by Gali and Ronis to get himself back to where he was prior to the caution. And he might have a run down the back straightaway here. To the inside.
And Martinez makes a wide move almost to the grass, trying to get underneath. Gali is going to be there as they enter turn 3.
And he's going to get this spot away pretty easily, I think. But the next battle is going to be Ronis in that 31 car. He's got Jordan Ashland breathing down his neck here, too. So he cannot afford to make a mistake out of turn 4. Very tight quarters there. And if he crashes, that could be his night over. So he really needs... He's in a good position now, but he needs to get himself up there if he wants a chance to win this race as well.
Yeah, he's going to he's trying to win the race and also just trying to get a spot in the playoffs. He was back quite a bit on his previous runs. He was back deep in the field, but now is up in 3rd and is fighting Emerson and Vincent for that final spot, but is quite a bit of points away from them. But now, the way he's running right now, he's going to be in compared to them, so it's very close in the points.
Change for the lead. Conor Horn has gone out up front. Let's take you back, take a look at it. And it was out of turn number 1. He got to the inside of the 88. And managed to stick a fender down there. Ooh, almost a little bit of contact with the 42. Conor Horn, now your leader late in the going here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, we've been waiting for when Conor Horn's going to make the move for the lead. We've been seeing him sit in 2nd and just kind of waiting the runs out. But I think he decided waiting is enough and is going to take the lead of this race here.
But not commandingly so. You see Eric Hutton still right on his tail. Casey Lakatos in the number 50 car right on Bruce Boyer's rear bumper. Good recovery for Boyer after being spun in the early going stages of this race. But Alec Martinez, this is what I worried about here, Finney. He got himself buried in traffic, is now stuck in 6th. And if he had just stayed out, he would be pretty much around where Eric Hutton is at the moment. So I think that was a lapse of a strategy call there for the 18. And going to put himself out of a chance to win this race if he doesn't get by these 3 cars very quickly.
So he's going to try to get to the inside of Gali here. And Gali actually kind of falling back here on the start.
And Eric Hutton did not have a very good lap through. There was 4/10 off the pace. That leaves Conor Horn now with a ½ second lead. And now look who's coming. AJ Stravato's going to get around the 18. This is not going the direction that Alec Martinez needs. He needs to get back around these cars if he wants a chance to win this. This was really going to be his night. He had a great qualifying run, great run in practice, and now in the late stages of Indy, it's slipping away from his very eyes.
Well, he was able to hold off Stravato. Now he's going to kind of have to set his sight forward and try to catch up to Joseph Gali.
And Ashland and Ronis trading spots for 3rd. That moves Ashland up to P3.
And Ashland really haven't seen too much out of him. Has been running pretty consistent up inside the top 5, but hasn't really made too much noise. But here he is up in 3rd. And we'll see if he can actually try to chase down the leaders. It's going to be a tall order, though.
Martinez is closed back in on the 1 car, but he needs to do away with them quickly because, honestly, at Indianapolis, passing a car will actually put you at risk from getting run over from behind as well. We saw that with the 42, the 2, and the 23, the cause of the last caution when the 2 car caught the 42 at a bad time and the 23 couldn't see and rear-ended him, and that's what caused that wreck. So Martinez has to be careful here not to get a boot from Stravato from behind. Conor Horn still leads by 0.6 of a second, and his lead is growing just a little bit at a time here. Gali to the inside of Ronis on the front straightaway. Where does Martinez go?
He's going to follow Gali to the inside.
And Stravato's going to go to the outside. 2x2 off into turn 1 at Indy. Oh, look 3 wide there for a moment. That's not going to work. Martinez drops to the inside again to try to get by Ronis. He might have a run here.
Yeah, Ronus actually blinking out for a second, but he's back here and is trying to hold off Martinez to the inside. Servato in behind Ronus, trying to make sure that Martinez can blend up in line.
Martinez trying to side draft. He's got a little bit of a run here down into turn 3, drives off into the corner. Ronus is going to try to drive around the outside, but can't quite do it. Martinez gets that grip and tries to roll himself forward as he loses a little bit of connection there, so hopefully he can maintain that as we continue.
And while these guys have been fighting, Bailey Turner in the 24 has caught himself back up here, fell back for quite a bit in the middle part of this race, but has now driven his way back up to the front and looks like he's hungry for some positions.
Still side by side back there for the 5th spot. Martinez gets on the throttle a little bit too soon, rides up the racetrack. Ronus is going to clear the 18 here, and looks like Martinez will have to try again. Travato to the inside, taking advantage of it.
Yeah, these guys are racing really hard for position here. Bailey Turner trying to look to the inside of Martinez. Martinez is going to cut him off.
And he's going to try to cross AJ Travato over, but Bailey Turner is going to do the same to him, but nope. Gets back in line. A very intense fight for 5th place at the moment.
And you can see that none of these drivers are giving each other an inch because some of these drivers, their playoff hopes are on the line here.
Oh, Martinez gets a piece of the wall there. He's got Travato all over him as well. Battle for the lead once again. Hutton has not lost any ground to Horn. He's actually gained it all back. He was back 0.6 of a second. Now he's only a 10th back and is right on the rear bumper of that 42 car. We're not done quite yet.
And speaking of a guy that's not lost anything but gaining is Jordan Ashland behind. He's been reeling these two guys in and at a very quick rate.
Throttling back up. Let's see what the lap times are this time through. For Conor Horn, it's going to be a 52.3, a 52.3 for Hutton, and a 52.1 for Ashland. 0.2 quicker that time through for the 27.
Ooh, battle between the 33 and the 31.
Travato down to the inside again. Martinez, will he go middle 3 wide? No, he tried to stick it in there, but can't quite go anywhere with it. Now he's got to pick a line to go with, or will he try to go through the middle of them? To the outside he goes, following the 31.
Who actually hits the wall on the straightaway, and Ronus trying to hold off charging AJ Stravato.
Martinez has hit the wall on the straightaway way too many times tonight. At some point, you got to cut that out, because that's easily avoidable and going to hurt his car in the long run.
Yeah, these guys being side by side has held up a lot of drivers behind them.
This looks like the all-star race package, how close these guys are racing. Look at the 33 slide on exit. Martinez to the outside. Oh, man. Martinez might be the big winner out of this. Oh, contact at 31! That's going to jack up the whole line of cars, the accordion effect. Wow. Joshua Banks scrambling to miss it all. But somehow, they all don't wreck, and Martinez picks up a spot.
That was incredible driving there. And also have to give out a shout-out. Casey Lakatos is up into 9th place and has been having a pretty good stretch of races as of recently. He's up into 9th place and trying to actually take away 8th place from Bailey Turner up ahead.
Out up front, though, Conor Horn continues to lead, but look who has caught 2nd place. It's the 3rd place car, Jordan Ashland in the 27, charged from the starting position of 5th up to 3rd, but it hasn't been that easy. He dropped a little bit farther back in the pack throughout the race and is now driven back up. We have a 3-way battle for the lead coming to 20 to go next time by.
And Ashland's been kind of the sleeper. We haven't really mentioned him in any battles for the win here tonight so far, but I have to include him in now as he's driven up to these guys now and is all over the back bumper of the 88 of Hutton.
And using that slipstream to his advantage, let's take a look at his speed. 195. Will he hit 200? Easily he will. 206 miles an hour before getting on the brakes. Kind of missed his turn in there and going to push up the racetrack, but it shouldn't hurt him too much as he's been significantly faster than these cars the last couple laps.
Yeah, and I mean, Ashland, last season's champion. I haven't mentioned it much this season. He's been struggling a lot, but this is kind of his return to form, really. He's only gotten 1 win this season at Michigan.
Martinez to pit lane and several others with him here, Finian.
Yeah, these guys are going to have to make one more pit stop, and some of these guys are deciding to make that stop early. So, interesting strategy here. I think some of these guys feel like they just can't get enough out of the car right now. Maybe come in, take some fresh tires, and get back out there with some better pace.
I love the call for the 18 car, though, Finney. He put himself back on strategy, but this might be the way to go for him here if he can just kind of eke out the rest of his competitors. Meanwhile, a battle for 8th place on track. Lakatos and Butler. Whoa, Lakatos gets loose out of turn 2, almost make Jordan into a contact, but they race down the back straightaway, and Butler is going to take that spot away and hang on to 8th. But up front, still a three-way battle for the lead with Eric Hutton, the sandwich between the 42 Camaro, and now he comes to pit road. And looks like the 33 is going to follow him, as well as the 57 of Chris Garrett. But Conor Horn, will he react to this here, Finney? It looks like he's going to have to. They're already, again, almost 3 seconds off of the pace on fresh tires, so he's going to need to respond very quickly if he wants to hold this lead with 20 to go.
I don't know. These guys might. Some of these guys might try to stretch out, maybe even the runs out. We got the green flag at lap 49, so they could try to split it 15 laps per stint, and that would kind of be the most optimal scenario. Again, some of these guys maybe have used up too much of their tires in this run, decide to come down. I would say maybe a guy like Jordan Ashland should probably stay out a few more laps.
I think Ashland can afford to. He's just been flat out quicker than everyone else the last couple laps, but both the leaders going to stay out this time through. The question is, where does the 18 pop out in regards to the 88? And it looks like it's going to be fairly close here, Finney. And Martinez is going to definitely make up the ground on the people he was racing before. And just up the road, you see that red dot in the middle of your screen. That is the 88 of Hutton. And Martinez is really only 2 seconds back. So a big advancement for the 18 car and all that.
Indeed. Probably not as much as Martinez would have hoped. He would have hoped to have been a little bit closer, maybe try to get a little bit of a run from behind the 88, but is currently a little bit too far for that, but it's still caught up a lot of time.
Well, keep in mind that earlier in the race, the 18 could at least keep pace with that 88 of Hutton, so I don't count him out just yet, and we'll keep an eye on that gap as we get closer to the end of the race. But Conor Horn out up front now just by 1/10 of a second over Ashland. Yusuf Ghali is in third, but a couple of these guys need to make a few more pit stops here.
Ooh, Angelo Ronis is down on pit road.
So is the assumption that the 42 is going to try to make it to the end here, Finney, as well as the 27?
No, I don't think. Actually,
they've been out for about 18 laps, 18 to go. That's 36 laps on a tank. I don't think they can do that.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit much. I mean, unless they do a lot of saving, but again, with the tire fall-off, I just don't think so. I think it's you're losing way too much time on the older tires. I think these guys are definitely going to come down. I think they might come down within a lap or two to make their pit stop here.
Alec Martinez is about, looks like he was a moment ago 2.6 back from Eric Hutton. So
Jordan Ashland down.
So Ashland making that move to pit road, and Conor Horn again. We've seen this a lot, Finney, and people trying to do the overcut. Do you think that's a strategy that can work at Indianapolis?
I don't think so. I think it's just so hard to pass on. Once the tires wear out, once you start to kind of catch up to people with the overcut, I just don't think you have enough tires left to make the pass. Like the overcut only really works on tracks where you can make the passes happen, and this is just one where track position is more important than trying to get fresh tires and pass people.
So Eric Hutton definitely quicker than Martinez. Martinez about 3/10 off of the 88's pace, but Martinez probably will be in front of the guys that were around him when he came to pit road. Now the question becomes, where does Conor Horn pop out in relation to Hutton, and how much time does he need to get back around the 88? Because the 88 will most likely have that position on him, as well as the 27 of Jordan Ashland. Ashland's popping out in 13th place here, Finian. AJ Stravato and Brian Chambliss battling for 11th on track at the moment.
Yeah, Stravato trying to make the most out of this one. Came down a little bit after some of the first wave of guys came down, so he's trying to cut up through them and gain some spots back.
Let's take a quick look while things have kind of calmed down for a moment. Take a look at our temperature here, Finian. 94 degrees. The last time we checked, it was 106, so it's dropped 12 degrees in that time, and the lap times are picking up significantly due to that. And you know what happens when the lap times pick up is the tire wear will also pick up accordingly. So as the race has gone on, the longer you run, the worse it's going to be.
And Conor Horn is still out on the track, so kind of curious what he's up to.
So Horn and Butler, Gali, and Gaba all have more than 15 laps on their tires and fuel tank. Now the question becomes, when do we see leader Conor Horn come down pit lane? He's won 2 races this season. He probably should have won 4 or 5, but obviously it's kind of gone away from him in the closing stages. The most notable ones, New Hampshire and Richmond, when he crashed in the late stages of both those races. But here he comes now, leader 42, Conor Horn, down to pit lane for his final stop of the night.
And Eric Hutton is currently on the back straightaway. He just came out of NASCAR turn 2, so Horn's gonna lose a lot of time here from staying out. But the question is, does he have enough time to make that back up? And I honestly don't think he does.
15 laps, it's not a super short amount of time here, but it's only really 12 minutes though. So will Hutton steal this one away from Conor Horn in the late stages? Because Conor really wrestled it away on that last restart and managed to drive away from Hutton. And I think Eric might try to pull a little fast one on him here in the strategy department. Conor Horn's still on pit lane. It's going to be way too much ground to make up, in my opinion here, Finian.
Yeah, I think if we had a decent amount of time left in the race, I think, like maybe 15, 20 more laps, I think definitely probably could have made it work. But I think just with the amount of time we have left, it's just too little to make up all that ground.
Well, if they could go that far, another 15 or 20 laps, they wouldn't be pitting right now. I don't even think it's a viable strategy with the fuel tank limit these guys have. Pass for position, 6th place for Jordan Ashland and Robert Gaba, but this is going to bury Conor Horn all the way back in 14th. And probably even 15th here if Angelo Ronas completes this pass. So Conor Horn is definitely going to move forward, but the question is how much?
Well, just to give you a reference, Eric Hutton's just coming out of NASCAR turn 4. And it's gonna be very tough to make all that ground up.
It's gonna be
you might have a shot.
It's to Eric Hutton, it's about 14 seconds if I'm counting that correctly. I mean, that's a lot of time to make up in 13 laps. Well, I mean, really, it's about a little over a second a lap here, Finian. So let's take a look at Conor Horn's lap times the next time around when he completes a full lap. And we'll ride on board here. Look at him cutting through the field now. There's the 14 of Bruce Boyer. This is for position. And Boyer's just going to let him go on through. Maybe this could work.
It's a crazy strategy. I mean, it might work, but again, he's going to have to pass a lot of cars and pass them extremely quickly, too. He can't afford to be held up by a lot of these guys. And he's got 3 guys up ahead that are fighting for position, and he's got nowhere to go.
And position with him, so they're under no obligation to let him by, but they're not going to need to. Look at Conor Horn dive to the inside. He's going to pass them all in one go. 3 cars in one corner. A phenomenal pass by the Credit One Chevrolet of Conor Horn. That was incredible.
Yeah, that was Conor Horn. Again, he can't afford to be held up by those guys. Had to make that move and had to make it work, and he did just that. And he's going to continue on his march towards the front of the field. Also of note, Jordan Ashland's gotten around Alec Martinez and is currently setting his sights on Eric Hutton, who's about a straightaway away.
Wow, I'm still reeling over that. That might have been the pass of the season. I know there was a tire difference there, but still, that was pretty impressive. All right, so last time through, Conor Horn ran a 50.2. Eric Hutton ran a 51.8. That's going to be enough time to get there, Finian. I thought we doubted him here, but he might have enough time to make this work.
Again, very tall order, but I mean, we've seen a lot of pace out of him. If he can make this work, hats off to him.
Coming next time by to 10 laps to go, Elliott Butler currently out in front, but he's going to need to come to pit road, as will Yusuf Gali in the 1 car. Everyone else should be good to the end. Eric Hutton the leader right now. But from Hutton to Ashland, it's 4.2 seconds. And honestly, Ashland might be the one in the catbird seat if Horn can't get there.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Ashland's got kind of the best of both worlds. He's got the fresher tires, and he's got a decent amount of time to get there. It's just, again, a question of will he be able to get there? That's kind of up in the air. as Eric Hutton comes across the line, it's going to be 10 laps to go in this race.
You see the gap there on screen. It's really only about one corner. It's a 4-second gap between them, and Ashland's passing it, or catching him at really 9/10 of a second a lap. So, actually, that's not really true. It's about a half a second a lap, but that's enough time. 3.7 out of turn 2 right now.
Yeah, question is now, where's Conor Horn? He's right now behind Alec Martinez and is going to try to make the pass on him. It's going to be close.
If Conor Horn pulls this off, that'll be one of the most incredible strategy calls. I mean, that is gutsy, doing an overcut at Indianapolis. Wow, this is shaping up to be an insane finish. Wow, Martinez drifting out of turn number 4, trying to hang on. He might be able to get a top 5 out of this, especially if Gali and Butler come to pit lane. Oh, we got one in the wall out of turn 4. It's the 57 of Garrett. He smoked the wall. Huge damage to the 57 car.
Yeah, and try to come down pit road, annihilated the pit cone, is also going to get a speeding penalty.
Oh, man.
So it's not shaping up for that 57 car.
Yeah, just got loose out of 4, slammed the wall. Big damage there for Garrett. And obviously, pit road speeding penalty there for Chris Garrett as well. Eric Hutton now only 3 seconds up the road from Ashland. And you can see there's your leaders, right, or what should be your leaders, Hutton, Ashland, and Horn, all in one camera shot there. You can see how much time they still need to make up, but only 8 laps to go here, Finney. We're running out of time, but Horn is coming and coming fast. A 51.2. That was a second faster than Jordan Ashland last time through, and he's only 1.6 back. He's going to pass Ashland, and he's probably going to pass Hutton. Will this be Conor Horn's 3rd win of the season?
I mean, I think it might be. I wouldn't be too surprised. At this point, I wouldn't be too surprised at the rate he's been going at. I guess, really the overcut, you need to be a fast driver. And I think if anyone could pull it off, it would be Conor Horn, that 42, to pull an overcut.
And I think really the time is running thin for Butler. And here he comes down to pit lane. And Gali is going to try to stay out one more time. If the caution were to come out now, that one car would be in prime position to win this race, but I don't think that's going to happen. It almost did a minute ago with the 57, but he's really a sitting duck, and Butler has accepted that, will pull off. That will leave Alec Martinez inside the top 5, but for now, Ashland and Hutton are battling for the lead with Conor Horn sneaking up behind in the late going stages.
Yeah, Ashland still lapping half a second faster than Eric Hutton. Conor Horn lapping half a second faster than Ashland, so... they're all kind of convening in on each other in these closing stages, and at the rate that they're going at, they're going to meet each other here right at the end of the race with 2 laps to go, pretty much.
You know, this is almost exactly what happened in the hardline race here about a month ago. If I recall correctly, Finney, it was the same kind of scenario with people playing a wild overcut, and I don't remember how it ended. I think it ended well for the guy that had been leading most of the race, which in this case would be the 88. But it's going to be a tall order to hold off Conor Horn on fresh tires. It's a tall order to hold him off when you're equal on tires. But when he's got, looks like it's going to be 13, about 7 lap older tires, that's going to be real hard to hang on.
Well, Conor Horn has caught Jordan Ashland. I think Ashland there's nothing really he can do here. He's kind of a sitting duck.
Well, it's no secret that Conor Horn is not the favorite driver in the garage here, Finney, and so maybe Ashland will do his best to hold off the 42, but I don't think you want to try that. Conor is obviously very good at getting by people, and I don't think it'll really do anything but anger him. That's not necessarily a good thing here. So coming to 5 laps to go, we're running out of time. And Eric Hutton has basically caught Yusuf Gali. He's only 1 second back, so it's going to be a pass regardless for the lead. Somebody's going to end up with this win, and it's going to be one of the top 4.
Yeah, indeed it is, and Horn almost drilled the wall off of 4, got very close there, and he's cut up to the back bumper of Ashland, but will he be able to make quick work of him and then try to chase down Eric Hutton up ahead?
Saw your top 4 all in the screen right there, but Conor Horn has now caught Jordan Ashland. What will he do? How long will it take him to get by? 5 laps to go. It's 2.4 to the leader. It's less than that to Eric Hutton. And
yeah, anyone in these top 4 have got a shot. I think Gali's trying to make the fuel last at this point, but I don't think it's gonna. So it's gonna come down to 2nd, 3rd, or 4th place.
And you see the 42 closing in now on the rear bumper of the 27, but also for the lead as well. Here comes Eric Hutton to the inside. Well, he's not going to get a chance to make a move there, and he does not have time to get held up by this one car. What will Golly do? He'll stay out again. He's committing to the strategy now. Hutton's going to try to get a little bit of a draft here on the straightaway. Coming to 4 to go. Here comes Conor Horn to the inside.
Yeah, behind them, Conor Horn's going to chuck it up to the inside of Jordan Ashland. And also up ahead, Eric Hutton's trying to chuck it up to the inside of the one of Golly.
Battles all over this racetrack. Both battles here are going to be going for the win here in a moment. The 88 trying to hold on to keep the 42 of Conor Horn behind him. Less than 4 laps to go, and Eric Hutton is a sitting duck here with Conor Horn only 7/10 behind.
And Joseph Golly doing a fantastic job of holding off Eric Hutton, giving him no nonsense, and still trying to hold on to the lead. I thought he was going to just let him on by, but he's going to fight for this win here. But I got to question how much fuel he's got left in that tank. And he hits the wall.
Golly smashes the wall out of turn 3, but now the battle is for the lead. Less than 2/10 separating Eric Hutton and Conor Horn. 3 laps to go this time through. Who is going to get it? Can Hutton hold on and keep Conor Horn behind him? And if you're Jordan Ashland, you're going to hope that 88 throws a block and gets the 2 in trouble.
Yeah, I think that's really all you can hope for at this point. It's trying to just hold off the 42 of Conor Horn. He's got to do so for 2.5 more laps.
And did that one car holding up the 88 make enough of a difference to put him at risk of getting passed? Last time through, Conor Horn ran at a 52.8. It was a 53.7 for Eric Hutton, trapped behind the one of Yusuf Golly. Golly slipped to 4th after slamming the wall. Now it's a battle for the lead. Coming to 2 laps to go. The gap is 0.2 of a second. Conor Horn is right there and about to get his 3rd win of the season if he can just get by that red number 88.
Yeah, I can imagine, though, Eric Hutton's not going to make it easy. He's going to use every move in the book to try to defend this win now as they come across the stripe. 2 laps to go.
It's 5 miles between Hutton. Here comes Horn, dives into turn 1, closes up all that ground that he just had. Now it's less than 1/10 between Hutton and Horn. 5 miles remain between Hutton and another victory and Horn and another victory. Which one wants it more in the season finale of the regular season? It's coming down to the wire. Next week we go to Watkins Glen, but now it's the Brickyard. It's absolutely a privilege to win a race here, and both these drivers are dying to get one.
Yeah, it's going to be close.
Oh, to the inside! Contact! Both these cars scraping. 42 to the inside, clears the 88, drifts up in front. The 88's going to be right on his rear bumper. What will he do?
Ashland's got a run on both these guys, and here they come out at turn 4 to collect the white flag. Who's going to win it?
Out of turn 4, the 88 sideways, trying to chase back down Conor Horn. There was contact in turn 3. Will the 88 retaliate? White flag, 1 more to go.
I would be surprised if he didn't retaliate.
Ashland swings to the outside, misses the corner completely. He's going to be out of this fight. It's going to be between Horn and Hutton through turns 1 and 2. It might be all she wrote for that 88 car.
I don't know. I can imagine that Hutton's going to try to return the favor to the 42 Horn. I'm sure he didn't like that move one bit.
And what will Eli Hinton do? Try to bump draft the 88. Give him a hand down the back straightaway. 2 more corners left for the 42 to get his 3rd win of the season. The 88 drives it in deep. Can he get there?
Oh, he's driving in deep. He's slipping out of the corner. He's sideways, and that's going to be it. Conor Horn, he's going to go through turn 4, and I think he's going to end up collecting the checker flag.
Conor Horn, unexpected, an amazing charge from the back of the field after making a late pit stop, comes through. 3rd win of the season for the 42 Credit 1 Chevy. Conor Horn in victory lane again in the Virtual Racing League.
Eric Hutton will come home with a damaged car in 2nd place. Jordan Ashland will come home in 3rd.
Wow.
Alec Martinez in 4th. Whoa. And rounding out your top 5, AJ Stravada with a great job of making a finish, and I think that'll be good enough to get him up into the playoffs. Again, we'll have official word of it as soon as possible after post-race interviews.
Yeah, obviously, we don't know the point situation yet. We will get those as soon as we can for you. But right now, the 42 and the 88 roughhousing there, coming to the white flag. What an insane finish. Again, Indianapolis delivers on its promise. In an incredible race, and Conor Horn came in here, probably not the fastest car in the field, but steals one away from Hutton in the closing laps.
Yeah, it was fantastic fighting between those guys for the win there. and just really intense. And again, really all of them were pretty much just fighting for the win there. That had nothing to do with points. That was just all for the bragging rights.
And that 42 car will come back to the yard of bricks, and will do his burnout again for the third time this season. And he's been shorted. Whoa, you see the 75 car coming through there. And he's been shorted a couple times this season, Finian, and it's been a rough one so far. Other than the races that he's dominated, he's been taken out of several events that he probably should have won, and this race was definitely not one of those. He was really playing second fiddle to the 88 of Hutton, but in the closing stages, a superior strategy will win the race for the 42 of Horn. And you can see behind me right now, the 42 car doing his burnout again, celebrating at Indianapolis. What a crazy race it was. We're going to take you back. Don't worry. We'll go back and take a look at that replay of the contact between the 88 and the 42. And then you'll get to take a look and judge for yourself who was at fault there. We'll be with the interviewer. We'll get to interview both those guys in just a minute. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live here to SimTV. Here is a look at the replay from onboard Conor Horn's car here. And we'll get to take a look and see what he saw out the windshield, Finian. Down the back straightaway, the move into turn 3, questioned by some. Let's take a look at the onboard. There's certainly a dive, but I think you gotta say that the 42...
No, he was there.
Yeah, he was there. I mean, I don't see anything necessarily wrong with that. We'll get another couple looks at it here.
Yeah, I mean, he made the dive, definitely, but there was a space there, and he didn't really make contact until they were pretty much next to each other. So, well, I wouldn't say it's a clean pass. It was a decent pass. He was present there. Again, we'll have to ask both of them on their opinion. I'm sure Eric probably won't be too happy with it, but we'll definitely get both of their opinions on it.
Yeah, that was quite the exciting move there for certain, but here's another take another look at it here, and we'll get you all the angles that we can. And some angles, it makes it look like the 42, but obviously, again, the 88 really slammed the door on him. Wow, what a drift the 42 had. That was crazy to watch. Try on board with the 88 as well and take another look. I mean, he got bullied out of the way, but he's tried to slam the door. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't drive more defensively off into 3, but that'll jack up your corner too much, and that'll really hurt you. There's one last look at it. Wow, using all of the racetrack did the 42. And we'll take one last angle from onboard Jordan Ashland. And watch this move in real time here. Man. Well, we were promised it would be intense, and it certainly was. You see the tire marks left by the 42. But that was that. But now we'll head back live here, Finian, and we'll talk to race winner Conor Horn after that crazy last lap maneuver there heading into turn number 3. Let's talk to Conor Horn, driving that number 42. Hey, Conor. Sorry to pull you from your conversation there, buddy, but that was absolutely crazy intense coming to the white flag. Walk us through that last couple laps.
I didn't expect to be the first to be interviewed. I knew what lap I was gonna pit. I knew their tires were gonna be worn and I was gonna be catching them, but the only problem was the traffic. The other people who pit early, I hope I caught them in the right place. I didn't catch a lot of them in the right place, but I made the passes where it mattered, and I got past Jordan, and when I realized how quickly I was catching Eric, I had a feeling I was going to get to him. It was just a matter of making a pass, and in my opinion, he could have been driving it in way farther into the turns than he was. I was caught completely off guard in the 3. That's why I either was going to drill him or go for the gap, and I did what I did, and he kept coming down. There's a bit of contact. That's racing. Maybe it's not racing that Indy, but I don't think it matters. That was definitely the best finish of the year. In my opinion, that was my best win. I had to work really hard for that. I'm really happy. I can't believe I won that.
It was certainly spectacular. Were you worried once he got by the 88 that there might be some retaliation for that move, or were you just focused on driving off into the sunset?
I got to be worried about retaliation almost like every turn. So yeah, I was worried that he would go into 3 hard, but luckily he didn't. He was a good sport about it. And lucky Jordan didn't get a chance to get by both of us. The lap car got in the way in the final lap there. It was a bit disappointing. And I was also scared that Yusuf was going to make it off fuel. That was close on his part. It was a good race by him. It's really fun. Those are the races that you want to win. Those are awesome.
It was certainly spectacular to watch. Next week we head to Watkins Glen, Conor, and obviously you're in a pretty good place in the point settings, but is that a track that you look at and circle as a place you want to go to, or a place that you look at and maybe dread?
I've been saying it week in and week out. The only track that I fear is Darlington. It's probably the only track I can't get a grip of. I'll be fine at every other track. Darlington's going to take some extra prep probably.
All right, Conor. Well, congratulations on your 3rd win this season. It was certainly harder, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, I assume so. See y'all. Good job with the stream.
Thank you very much. Next, we're going to talk to the 2nd place driver, Eric Hutton. Eric, you got to look back at that race and maybe think going off into 3 a little bit defensive might have served you better, but walk us through those last couple laps in that contact with the 42 coming to the white flag.
Yeah, it was an exciting last run. I had my eyes on the relative more than on the track, I think, just watching them, see how much time they could gain. I guess I pitted a little too early. Those last 5 laps or so, I feel like the 1 was really holding me up and let them gain a lot. And coming to that second to last lap, turn 3, I I guess I just forgot who was behind me and was expecting a clean pass, but I guess I should have held a little bit more of a defensive line. I feel like I drove it in harder than I should have, really, and I guess that's what caused me to arc the corner, and then you just dove it in there, used my car to turn, but frustrating, but still got second. Decent race overall.
Obviously, the next week we have Watkins Glen coming up, and the last time we were at Watkins Glen for the Virtual Racing League was a pretty good race for you, but a guy like Conor Horn is going to be hard to beat again. But let's talk about also Ryan Shelton driving the 51. He'll be racing next week. Are you a little bit worried about non-chasers coming in and potentially kind of mucking up the waters for you?
Yeah, I think I just need to keep it clean and cool. The Glen, I know I wrecked Joshua Banks last time, so don't want to do that again. But just I think a solid top 4 or 3, I'll be happy with.
All right, Eric. Thanks for talking to us. We'll talk to you next week.
Yep. See ya.
All right, now we'll talk to third place driver Jordan Ashland. Jordan, you got probably the best seat in the house there for that incredible pass heading into turn 3 with 2 to go. Walk us through your perspective on that and maybe what you needed to get 2 more spots.
Yeah, it was probably a good seat, but it was really disappointing being third and knowing I was going to finish third. But yeah, I thought I had the right lap to pit. I thought I had the right lap, but apparently Connor must have. But I seen him pitting like a couple laps later than I did. I thought I have this in the bag, and Hutton pitted like a couple laps before, and I was gaining on Hutton. I think enough to pass him. But if I was just as good as those guys, I probably could have kept a steadier pace and probably got around Hutton. Maybe won it. Maybe fought off Horn. But I was paying attention so much on gaining on Eric in those last 10 laps. I looked down at my relative and seen Conor Horn was up there, so that kind of made me a little more disappointed. But third place is good. But it just feels so disappointing.
All right, as we head into the chase next week, which you are thankfully a part of after all of that, Watkins Glen is up next week. Obviously, that's a track that some people are a little bit concerned about. What's your outlook on the first race of the chase next week?
I think the guys that you're used to seeing up front are going to be up front. I think Conor Horn's pretty good. I think we have like a road course ringer maybe or 2 that just come in for the road courses maybe, but Hutton's really good. I'll be back in like 10th or 15th or whatever, but I think if I can get past the road course, and I think Darlington's in there, I think I might have a shot. I'll probably finish like 4th or 5th or 8th or something in the chase.
All right, Jordan. Well, obviously, another good finish for you tonight. Third place for the 27 of Ashland. Thanks for talking to us, Jordan. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, Finian. Well, thinking about the points, Finian, I don't even know what they are right now, so I'm going to give you full control to go grab whoever you want to talk to, because I don't even know who made the chase yet. That's all up to you to grab and bring those guys in here to talk to if they would like to. And we'll talk to a few of the chasers and get the points figured out. And I'll let Finian kind of do that for a moment.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm just trying to figure out who I want.
I was told it was very, very close. That's all I know at this time.
All right, so I'll get some of the guys who are really close in. So let's start with AJ Stravato. Need to find where he is, or if he's even here.
It looks like Stravato is not here.
Oh, I found him.
Oh, he is. Oh, yeah, he is. He's up in Dark Smoke. Hey, AJ Stravato, you got a copy?
Yeah, man.
All right, it's Kyle from SimTV, and as far as I know, I don't have the points information to display on screen, but Finian tells me you're in the chase, and it was not by a whole lot of points.
Yeah, I made it by 2 points, man. That was a hell of a show we put on out there, man. That was a lot of intense fun.
Obviously, the chase coming up is 5 very difficult racetracks. We start next week with a road course. How are you liking your chances in upstate New York next week?
I'll be honest with you, Watkins Glen is probably my least favorite track that's on the schedule, so I got some work I got to put in this week. But considering everything that happened at the beginning of the season, just to make the chase by the skin of my rear end, pretty much, that was pretty cool to scrape it out by 2 points and, put myself in an opportunity to start racing for the chase.
All right, AJ. Well, thanks for talking to us, and congratulations on making the chase, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir, brother. Thank you.
No
Good
problem.
job with the broadcast again.
Thank you very much. All right. And next on the list is up to Finian again.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Jeremiah Vincent, who made it into the final spot.
Hey, Jeremiah Vincent. It's Kyle from SimTV. You got a copy?
Copy.
All right, well, after all that, a little bit of a chaotic race around you tonight, but you came home in 9th place, and it looks like you're in the chase in the last spot seated, but got 5 weeks coming up, and they're going to be very tricky, but first of all, congratulations on making it, and second of all, how do you like your chances heading into the next 5 weeks?
Well, thank you. I'm just happy to be in it. I had everything, the kitchen sink thrown out against my way in this race, it seemed like. I'm not too great at road horses, but it's all about surviving. I'm decent at Watkins Glen. There's a couple of good tracks coming up. Definitely got a lot to do to catch up to the 88 and the 42 and the 13, but keep my hopes high and hope for the best.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us, Jeremiah. Obviously, a good week for you in top 10, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thank you. Great job tonight, guys.
Thank you.
All right, do we want to do one more?
Yeah, sure, we'll do one more.
Let's start to Mark Emerson, who just messed out of the playoff grid by 1 point. He ended up finishing in the points in 9th after this race.
AJ.
Hey, Mark Emerson, it's Kyle from SimTV. You got a copy?
I got you.
All right, well, tonight was kind of a crazy race. Ultimately, I believe you came home in 10th place, but it was a little bit short tonight to make it to the chase, and you're going to miss out by just a couple points. First of all, got to be a little bit of disappointment in there, but the season's been kind of an up and down, and tonight wasn't too bad, a solid 10th place finish.
Yeah, it could have been a lot better. I ended up getting speeding on pits during the green flag pit stops, and that just kind of ended everything that I had. I had to go a lap down, so I had to start that last run on old tires. So I had no chance of catching up to anybody.
As we head into the next 5 weeks, Mark, obviously no championship at stake, but does this increase the hunger for the wins? Are you going to go out there and make sure that no one else gets the wins, or is it more conservative to let the chase guys race?
It depends. I mean, it depends on the track. I know the road course race coming up next week, I'm going to be going all out. I'm not going to let anybody pass me if I don't have to, and then just depends on the track and who's trying to pass me. It's another thing too.
All right, Mark. Well, thanks for talking to us. We'll see you next week. And again, obviously a little bit of disappointment there, but still a good season for you. 10th place finish for you tonight. Thanks, Mark.
No problem.
Okay, I need to take a breath, A, and B,
Yeah.
Another phenomenal race by the Virtual Racing League.
Yeah, I just want to take this time just to officially set off the grid and just explain to the people at home how close the points are. Unfortunately, you can't really get it up on screen, but I'll list off the points nonetheless. So the top 8 drivers that have made it in are Conor Horn, Eric Hutton, Eli Hinton, Jordan Ashland, Elliot Butler, Alec Martinez, AJ Stravato, and Jeremiah Vincent. Those are going to be the 8 drivers competing in the playoffs. But I really just cannot capitalize how close it was. AJ Stravato made it in by only 2 points above the cut line. Jeremiah Vincent only made it above 1 point. Emerson was 1 point behind him, and Banks was 1 point behind Emerson and 2 points back from the cut line. And if Banks didn't have that internet issue, he would have been safely in the point. So got a feel for him as well. But it came down to the wire for this race to decide the playoff grid.
And I think with Emerson and Banks missing the chase, that could really throw a wrench into things late in the season. If it comes down to something this close at the end of the season, maybe even in the last race, having a guy like Banks win would really certainly throw some people off of their plans. But again, Conor Horn, an excellent strategy tonight. We saw one of the best passes in the season when he drove to the inside of those 3 cars. That I don't remember who they were, but passed 3 cars in one corner. That was a great move. Obviously, again, a controversial finish again at VRL, but that's how they like to do it here. It's spectacular to watch. And the next thing's coming up on SimTV tomorrow night. SCAR Stock Car Series action. Tuesday night, the Track Midwest Porsche Cup Series is back from Sonoma Raceway last week. They amassed over 850 views, cementing themselves as the best watched broadcast on SimTV by over 200%. and more of the same on Tuesday night at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're here next week, Saturday night. Watkins Glen is going to be the next round and the first round of the chase. And it also means we're going to be on iRacing Live next Saturday night, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.